Yes, good evening.
Evening, ma'am.
Okay, we'll start the new chapter. Anyways, so what is the name of the chapter? Chapter 5. See, what is the name of the chapter?
Sensory, attention, and perceptual process.
Sensory, attention, and perceptual processes. Yes. Aishwarya, read the introduction part. In the previous chapters, you have already learned that portion. And stop only when I tell you to stop. Okay?
In the
Start.
previous chapters, you have already learned how we respond to various stimuli present in the external and internal environment with the help of our receptors. While some of the receptors are clearly observable, for example, eyes or ears, others lie inside our body and are not observable without the help of electrical or mechanical devices.
11, 5. Did I ask you to stop?
This chapter will introduce you to various receptors that collect a variety of information from the external and internal worlds. The focus will be particularly on the structure and function of eye and ear, including some interesting processes associated with vision and audition.
11.
You will also know some important processes associated with vision and
30.
you will also know some important things about attention which helps us to notice and register the information that our sense organs carry to us. Different types of attention will be described along with the factors that influence them. At the end, we will discuss the process of perception.
Stop. Enough. Yes. Elvina, what was summarize what she read?
That we have
Look at the screen. Summarize what Aishwarya read.
the response to the stimuli in the external and the internal.
Okay, wait. Ashish, summarize what Aishwarya read.
Introduction of the fifth chapter.
Huh?
Introduction of the fifth chapter.
Oh, is it? Okay, what was I telling?
11,
Then?
5,
Then?
10,
Then?
only that much, huh?
Only that much you remember. Amal, what was I telling?
I don't know, ma'am.
You don't know.
My call came in between, so net was cut.
Okay, fine. Aishwarya, what was I telling?
We're telling some numbers.
Huh?
Some numbers.
Did you hear some of the numbers?
I heard 11.
11, then?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, fine. So you heard my voice. That is one thing. Then you interpreted it as my voice. That is another thing. Then I asked you all to listen or notice to what Aishwarya is reading. I didn't ask you to listen to the whatever nonsense that I was talking about, right? But you all didn't hear, most of you, I mean, except Amal. Amal was listening to something else, attending the call, but so we'll excuse him. And Elvina and Ashish, you were attending to the nonsense syllables that I was giving out instead of listening to what Aishwarya read. That's why you couldn't summarize. Okay? And from common sense, somehow somebody told that this is the introduction. Yes, we all know that this is the introduction. Okay? So you attended to what was interesting to you, or you noticed something that you found interesting, or you had curiosity to what I was shouting out here. Isn't it? Yes? Yes or no? And even before starting to read, I asked Aishwarya not to stop. Stop only when I tell to stop. Isn't it? But you stopped in between. Why?
I tried to listen to you.
Yes, you try to listen. You try to attend to what I was speaking. Okay? So we have our three main or basic components of our cognition here. That is the first one, sensation. You heard me. Hearing is the one of the basic senses. So your ears could register that sound. That is one thing, sensation, sensory process. Then you had the perception process. That is, you interpreted it as my sound. Interpretation of the senses, that comes under the perception. Then you attended to, or you listened to, or you noticed something that you were interested in, or that was important to you. That is, you heard my voices in between. You listened to the voices in between. You might have heard all the voices in between. Ashish heard the numbers clearly. Elvina also managed to hear the numbers, but Aishwarya was attending to the reading. That's why she couldn't remember or clearly attend to the rest of the numbers. She just heard 11 there. She just could attend to 11, but she could hear the sound, but she couldn't attend to the other sounds. Is it not? So that comes under the attentional processes. So these three processes, we are going to broaden it, and we are going to learn it in an elaborate manner. Yes. Okay. Yes, we are going to start with the sensation first. So take down the definition of sensation. The initial experience of a stimulus. The initial experience of a stimulus or an object. The initial experience of a stimulus or an object registered by, or an object registered by a particular sense organ, registered by a particular sense organ is called sensation. Is called sensation. Elvina, please read out the definition.
The initial experience or an object registered by a particular sense organ is called sensation.
Sensation. Okay. Please make sure that you write down all these things in your lecture notes. Okay. And whatever thing that you understand from the class, you have to copy that in the lecture note in your own words. While I give the lectures, you have to write down that in your own words so that you can refer that when the exam comes. Because the textbook words and the notes that I give, you might not be so much familiar with that language. So that you can copy down the things that you understand in your own language in your lecture notes. Okay. And make sure that you keep a file for that, for your lecture notes. You'll have to file that at the end of the academic year. Yes. So these sense organs, they have different purposes. Like which are the senses? Amal, which are the basic senses?
Skin.
Hmm?
Skin.
Okay, then you tell me which are the sense organs. Yes, skin is a sense organ.
Ears.
Yes.
Eye. And nose.
Nose. It's just close to your finger now.
Tongue.
Okay, fine. So which are 5 senses then, Ashish, related to the sense organs?
Listening.
Listening. Where did that come from?
Yes.
Hearing.
Hearing.
Hearing. Then fast. You can't lag.
Tasting.
Taste. Yes.
Watching.
Vision.
Vision.
Vision. Okay. Then watching is those words are just fifth standard, sixth standard level. You are in +1 now. So the term is vision. Then
Vision.
and for hearing we say audition. Not the
Okay.
BTS audition and all. It's hearing. Okay, then. Yes, audition, vision, and then you told taste. Yes, then. For the skin, you have
Nose.
for the skin you have
Touch.
touch. Okay, then. What else?
Smelling.
What is
Smell.
huh?
Smell.
Smell. Okay. Yes. So these are the senses related to the sense organs that Amal told. Now, Sana, how many sense organs are there in a human body?
5.
5. Sure.
6.
6. Grishma, how many sense organs are there?
5.
Sure. Are you sure?
Yes.
Meghna, how many sense organs are there?
5.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That was till yesterday. From today onwards, you have 7 sense organs. Will you agree to that? Will you agree to that? Yes or no? Ashish, will you agree to that if I say so?
Yes.
Why?
You said that.
Why do you agree to that? You know only 5.
You say that.
Just because I said you agree to that.
Yes.
Then I'm telling that you, from today onwards, you are Sneha. Do you agree to that?
No.
Why? Because I said no.
That is depend on me.
That is depend on me.
Yes.
Okay, so this topic doesn't depend on you. It's your psychology portion. If you get it wrong, you're not going to get marks in the exam. So it's related to you, right?
Yes.
Do you guys even check whatever I teach in class is true or not? I can come here, stand here and tell you all the nonsense. Who knows whether it's right or not? Some people haven't even seen the textbook for years, I suppose. Somebody is smiling. Yeah, she knows that I'm telling about Hima. Okay, fine. Yeah, I was really serious. From today onwards, you're going to answer the number of sense organs as 7. Okay. Apart from the ones that Amal told, and apart from the senses that Ashish told, we have 2 other systems. I'll everybody close your eyes and try to reach your nose with your tongue. Close the eyes and try. That's why I told you close the eyes. Close your eyes and try to. Ashish, leave your hand down. Try to reach your nose with the tongue. Aishwarya, close your eyes. Close. Everyone close. Don't waste my time. And your time also. Amal is trying to pull out his tongue. Leave all your hands just with your tongue. Try to reach. Try to reach. I'm not telling to reach. Just try. Try to reach your nose. Can anybody do that? Can anybody reach? Open. Ayush is peeping through. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Could you reach? Yes or no? Okay. And when I asked you to reach your nose with the tongue, why didn't you go downwards? Why didn't you go in a round fashion? Yes, Elvina. Why did your tongue directly go up in an upward fashion?
Because we need to touch our nose.
So, did your tongue actually know that your nose is in the upward direction?
No, it's an activity that done by ourselves.
Done by ourselves. Okay. I'm asking, why didn't your tongue go in a downward fashion? Just like the dogs do when they are hungry. Why do you think so? Did anyone actually try that? No, right? Everybody went straight upwards, right? I hope so. Yeah. Okay. Why do you think so? Aishwarya, why do you think so?
Because the nose is at the top and not down.
Nose is at the top. I'm asking about you.
Because I know it.
Because I know it. Okay. You know it because of a system called kinesthetic system. Wait, just a minute. Kinesthetic system. And I told you we have two other systems other than the basic sense organs. Those are the kinesthetic system and the vestibular system. Where is this? Yes. First one is
When we
kinesthetic.
can't see the screen.
Just a minute, just a minute. Now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kinesthetic system. That is one system. Then you have vestibular system. So kinesthetic system, this helps you to understand, or this helps you to, or it gives more information regarding the position of your of some of your body parts in relation to the other. Understood? That is a kinesthetic system. So you know that your nose is above your mouth. That is why the tongue straight away went in that direction. You know it because you have a kinesthetic system. Then vestibular system. I'll give an example. You have bought a brand new skinny jeans. Okay? And you're trying to, you are going to a shopping mall, you're going to the trial room and trying it out. You want to see how much it is a perfect fit for you. And so obviously you will have to take out your first leg, try to put it in. Yes, and you have to, for a couple of minutes or couple of seconds, you'll have to balance yourself on one of your leg, isn't it? Otherwise, you'll fall, and I don't know what will happen after that. Yes. So the point that, or it's at a point you realize that you have to balance yourself on one leg. You'll have to manage the weight of the body on one leg. You'll have to move left and right or to and fro in order to stand in a position so that you don't fall. You need to accelerate your speed of movement. You need to know about the different movements that you're having at that particular moment, right? In order to stay safe, in order to not fall, and in order to get into that jeans. Is it on? So those things are dealt with by the vestibular system. Mainly it deals with balance. Okay? So which are the other systems? Vestibular system and the kinesthetic system. Kinesthetic system, it helps in giving us information about the position of a particular body part in relation to the other. Remember our touching the nose example. And vestibular system, it helps or it gives us more information regarding the balance, that is the body balance, the acceleration movements and the other motor movements. Helps in the coordination of all these movements. Understood? So from today onwards, we have the kinesthetic as well as the vestibular system as a part of our sensory system. Now, have you understood that topic till now? Yeah. So this is the basics of sensation. Now, each sense organ, I told you, each sense organ has its own capability of receiving a particular information. For example, ears are sensible to hearing. Eyes are sensible to the vision. Yes or no? So each one is called a sensory modality. Each one is called a sensory modality. Okay, note down that each sense organ is highly specialized for dealing with a particular kind of information. Just like the tongue is highly specialized to deal with what type of information? The taste. Anything related to taste is dealt with by the tongue. Can we taste the biryani with the ears? No. Ears are specialized for hearing. You can hear music, you can hear the scoldings from your parents, you can hear the lectures of your teachers only with the help of your ears. You can use your tongue for that. Tongue has a specialized purpose, that is for tasting. Okay? Yes. Now, so each, since these sense organ, each of them has a specialized function, it is called a sensory modality. Each one of them are called a sensory modality or sense modality. In a textbook, it is given as sense modality. You can otherwise call it a sensory modality. Ashish, please switch on your video. Now, okay, this is the basics about sensation. We have the 5 senses, the 5 sense organs, and plus the 2 that we added today. So which are the 2 that we added today, Grishma?
Vestibular and kinesthetic.
I can't hear you. Please be a bit louder.
Vestibular and
Vestibular.
kinesthetic.
And kinesthetic. Okay. Please, those are the new terms. Keep on revising. Otherwise, you're going to write something else starting with K and ending with C for the kinesthetic in the examination. That's for sure. You did you actually go through the textbook this chapter? I asked you to go through the textbook. Did you see how many new terms are there in this chapter? In the parts of eye itself, you have fovea, you have rods, you have cones, you have sclera, you have cornea, you have vitreous humor, you have aqueous humor, and we have a small brain that we haven't touched, and it's left in the previous chapter, in chapter 3. You remember a poor brain and the different divisions of the brain? Without knowing the brain, you're going to learn about the eye and ear. I don't know. The sensory information will not go to the brain. I don't think so. I'll be keeping on lecturing and it won't reach the brain finally. We'll keep a test for that chapter also one day, okay? Yeah. So we discussed about all the sense organs. Now we have certain limitations for our sense organs. Like, if I tell like this, did you hear something? Did you hear something? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
Yes? Yes, Ashish, what did I tell?
Voice.
Huh? You just heard that voice.
Yes.
Okay. So that is one of the limitation of a hearing system. That is, it cannot hear a very low sound and it cannot hear a very big sound of very high frequency. Okay, that is one limitation of a hearing system. Similarly, if there is no light at all, can you see something? No. If there is very bright light, can you see something? No. You'll probably have very difficulty in seeing something. You'll probably close your eyes because of a very bright light. Then, similarly, for other senses also, you have limitations. So there is a particular range within which you can sense each of the thing. That is, you have a particular range of sound to hear. You have a particular range of vision. That is the wavelength of the light. And for each sense or for each sense modality, you have a range. Okay. And we have different stimuli around us. From the external world, from the internal world, we learned about stimuli, right? Anything that evokes a response is known as a stimulus. And we can have different types of stimuli from different modalities. And the field of study that deals with the stimuli, that deals with the relationship with the stimuli and the sensation, it is called psychophysics. Write down psychophysics. The relationship between stimuli and the sensations they evoke has been studied in a discipline called psychophysics. I give the spelling. Psycho from psychology, and because we have sensation, that is the wavelength of the light, the frequency of the sound, we have physics also along with it.
Can you repeat the definition once again?
Yes. The relationship between stimuli, the relationship between stimuli and the sensations they evoke. The relationship between stimuli and the sensations they evoke has been studied, and the sensations they evoke has been studied in a discipline called psychophysics. In a discipline called psychophysics. Finished? Okay, now another two new terms we are going to learn. The first thing is, okay, before that I'll explain one activity. We take a glass of water and we add, I add 1 grain or 1 granule of sugar in it. Just one small crystal of sugar in it. And I make you to taste it. Will you be able to experience the sweetness in it?
No.
Why?
The amount of sugar is less.
Okay. Again I add 2 more granules of sugar in it. Will you be able to taste it? Will you be able to experience the sweetness? I'm telling about the grains, not spoons. The small granules that we have in sugar, in crystallized sugar. I'm adding, now totally I have 3 granules dissolved in the 1 whole large glass of water. Will you be able to experience the sweetness? Yes, Sana, will you be able to experience the sweetness? If I add 3 granules of sugar?
No.
No. Again, why?
Because it is only some.
Yes, it is very less again. Now suppose I add 1 teaspoon of sugar inside that. Inside the glass of water, I stir it, I dissolve it, and then I give it for tasting. Will you be able to experience the amount of sweetness?
Yes.
Yes. Again, you have that some minimum amount of sugar in it so that you can taste it, right? So we are here, this example is regarding which modality, which sense modality?
Taste.
Taste, yes. So the sense organ involved is the
Tongue.
tongue. Okay. Now we have a small minimum amount of sugar to experience the sweetness. Okay. So for each and every sense modality, we have that bare minimum amount. For hearing, we need to have a bare minimum or the small minimum amount of frequency of sound in order to hear. And again, for seeing something, we need a little bit of light, the minimum amount of light we require, and such minimum amounts required in order to make these sense organs to sense them, in order to receive that information, is called absolute threshold. What is it called? Absolute threshold. It is called absolute threshold. Absolute threshold. It has one more name. It is also called absolute limen. L-I-M-E-N or limen. L-I-M-E-N. And in short, it is called AL. Absolute limen. So the small amount of the whatever sense we are dealing with, whatever sense organ we are dealing with, the bare minimum amount of that particular sensation required. That is called the absolute threshold or absolute limen. In short form, we call it AL. Understood? And how do we usually find that this is the absolute threshold? You just, in the example which we discussed now, if you try adding this, doing the same activity 100 times. Suppose you tried it 100 times. Like I tried it 100 times, and 50 of the times I got it that only if I add 1 teaspoon of sugar, I can experience sweetness. And rest of the 50% of the time, I got some other values, 1.5 teaspoon, and I got 2 teaspoon, I got 3 teaspoon, some other values. But 50% of the time, I got that adding 1 teaspoon can, only after I add 1 teaspoon can I experience sweetness. So absolute threshold is basically I'll read out. In water on 50% of occasions will be called the AL of sweetness. That is, if this particular amount of sugar leads to experience of sweetness in 50% of the time, then it is called absolute threshold. Okay. So similarly, if we do a test on the sense modality of hearing, I give you a sound and you can't hear it. I give you, I increase the frequency and I give you the sound, and then also you can't hear it. And when you reach a particular hertz, that may be 25 hertz, then you are able to hear it. So I do this test some 200 times. And 100 times I got that 25 hertz can make you hear this. So what is the absolute threshold there? 25 hertz. Understood? So 50% of the 200 times, that is 100 times. 100 times I got the same value. With this 25 hertz only if you start from the 25 hertz, you can hear. So if you go to the 26 hertz, if you go to 27 hertz, you can hear. It's okay. Understood? So the minimum point, the minimum amount of the sensory modality required is called the absolute threshold. Otherwise, it is called absolute limen, and it can be shortened or abbreviated as AL. And it depends. The absolute threshold varies from person to person. It varies from the situation to situation. It varies also according to the motivation of the person. For example, there is a young, an adolescent and an old man, a person who is in the old age. Okay, and the kid might require only a small level of absolute threshold, while the other person, like the adolescent, can hear with the 25 hertz, but the old man might require a bigger amount of frequency to hear because of the cognitive problems or because of the hearing problems and all. Okay, so from person to person, this might differ. Then according to the situation also it might differ because there might be several situational factors acting. There might be so many noises around so that you can't properly hear that. So you have to remember absolute threshold varies with situation, with person to person, and also according to different motivational levels. Like if you're not interested in the class, if you're not interested to learn anything, then you will be just attending something else. Yes, so you won't be able to hear what I'm telling. So again, your absolute threshold might vary. Please switch on your video. I'll just stop it now. Just one more topic. So this is about the minimum value required to notice or experience a sensation. Now you have difference threshold, something called difference threshold. It is otherwise called difference limit, just like the absolute threshold or absolute limit. This abbreviated as DL. This is the minimum amount of difference required in order to notice that there has been a change in the amount. For example, in our this value, in the sugar activity that we discussed, we take 2 glasses of water, and in one glass I have 1 teaspoon of sugar. In the other glass I have 1 and 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. Again, will you be able to identify the difference between the two? Yes or no? 1 teaspoon and 1 and 1/4 teaspoon. Will you be able to identify the difference? No, because the sweetness level is somewhat similar between both of them. And if I keep on adding and I reach a value of 2 teaspoons or maybe 3 teaspoons, then you can say that the value has changed. That is, in this glass I have a small amount of sweetness. In this glass I experience a lot of sweetness. So that difference between the 1 and the 3 teaspoons, what is the difference? 3 minus 1, 2. 2 teaspoons. That is the difference threshold for this activity. So your difference threshold for the sweetness might be the 2 teaspoons of sugar. Understood? So the minimum value required in order to identify or in order to recognize the sensation is called absolute threshold. Then the minimum value required in order to realize or identify the difference between two sensations, that is a two level of sensation of the same modality, it is called a difference threshold. Understood or not?
Can you repeat the definition?
Yeah, definition I'll read out. Did you understand the concept as such? Yes, okay. Now I'll give the definition. Yeah. In order to be noticed, you can mark in the textbook and then copy down to the lecture note. That's easier. In order to be noticed, a stimulus has to carry a minimum value or weight. The minimum value of a stimulus required to activate a given sensory system is called the absolute threshold or absolute limit. And in the next page, you have the difference limit. The smallest difference in the value of two stimuli that is necessary to notice them as different is called the difference threshold or difference limit. So if you have to notice that the two amount of sweetness is different in the 2 glasses, then you require a minimum amount of difference among them. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So that small amount of difference between glass 1 and glass 2, that is the small amount of difference between the sweetness, is called a difference threshold in that experiment. And this also 50 times of the total times that we do, it is called a difference threshold. Like if just like we told about the absolute threshold, 50% of the time, if this is the value that we get, then that is the difference threshold. Understood? It is a bit confusing. Read the textbook and come for tomorrow's class. Okay? Okay, then that's it. We'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.